Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Frank Leboeuf is joining Craig Shaka and myself in the studio today. Just a few memories about a special moment in Madrid when there was a rowboat race. Yeah.
Yes. You have to pick your poison carefully. Who gets in your boat? The wrong person gets in your boat. It's not just rowing you got to worry about.
Anyway, the first question is a good question today. It's from Dan's high chair. It says...
Hold on.
It's from who?
Dan's high chair. We have...
Oh, goodness me.
Honestly, some of the questions, sometimes you got to question the questions. But some of the names...
A good one. The righteous anger of Craig Burley's one of them.
Nedham's
interior decorator.
Riley, the big golden Dan's high chair.
Dan's high chair. Anyway, Dan's high chair would like to know, for all, can you think of any coach, past or present, as feisty as Arteta on the sidelines? Frank?
I have to say no. I mean, the guy is really playing with his health, you know, and he really has to take care of his heart, you know. He's not going to last long if he carries on like that, you know, complaining about everything. We wanted red cards for every foul from Newcastle, complaining to the ref, complaining to Eddie Host, complaining... Well, but I never seen that in my life, you know. I've seen nervous coaches, but not that amount, you know. And in contrary, I had Ruud Gullit, you know. He was always sitting on the bench, you know, and never had any reaction. He was always cool and calm, and maybe too much for some people, because some people have been complained about that, saying, you know, that the guy didn't care, in fact, which I think it wasn't the case. But I never seen somebody like Arteta, never.
Stuart Pearce. Stuart Pearce was, I think,
Well, his nickname alone said it all.
Oh, right. I mean, I played with Stuart both at Newcastle and West Ham. I mean, incredible player. But as a manager, I remember playing. I think it was Pompey went up and played against Manchester City when he was managing. And he would come out and, you know, the press would follow the manager as ever to the dugout, and he would go and sit really quietly and just sit there, and the press would take photos. And from the time the referee blew the whistle, he would stay on the bench up until the referee blew the whistle, and he would just fly off. As though he was still playing. He would just fly off and he'd be on the sidelines, running up and down. If you were playing on that side of the pitch, it had to be, and especially if you're a wing back, because that was his position, it had to be the worst experience as a wing back, playing for Stuart Pearce, when he's right there in your ear.
I think he's going to tackle you. He's going to 2-foot you. When did you play under him? Or was you watching him?
No, I played with him at Newcastle and West Ham. And no, Pompey went to Manchester City.
Oh, I see.
So I'm sitting there.
Was you watching him?
Yeah, I was on the bench. I was on the bench. No, I was on the bench for Pompey, so I was right there. And I think it was Pompey or West Ham. But anyway, I was on the bench, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like, and he would be right in the air of the wing back all game long. It was murder.
No, but you know, I didn't have anybody like that. But I know what players are like. Certainly. If you had somebody who was even remotely close to that, the players would be like, sit down, you know, to the manager. Sit down, shut up.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, shut up, shouting at me every 2 minutes. I'd go and stand on the other side of the pitch just to get away from him.
You were quite entertained by Arteta's antics today, Craig, watching the game.
He loves it. Craig loves Arteta.
Every show now we're going to have Arteta watch. It's because he's like, he drive you nuts. But, you know, they're having success at the moment, so who am I to argue? But what made me laugh was when he thought on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it was, when he thought that Brighton had brought the game back to 4-3 before VAR chopped the goal off and there was like 5 minutes left, all of a sudden Arsenal's big lead is gone. Well, it looked like it. He was the one in the touchline, was going like that to the players, calm down. But 30 seconds before the goal had gone in, he was running about, bobbing around panicking. He's a character, isn't he?
It's passion. It's passion. OK, Craig, what does Erik Ten Hag have that Jose Mourinho or the other United coaches don't have? Why is he turning the club around in such a small time?
Well, I think we need to just slow down a little bit because, and give him his due, Solskjaer somehow managed to get them into second place. So did Mourinho at one point. OK, the football wasn't great, blah, blah, blah. But I think we have to slow down with the turnaround. I mean, they're playing better at the moment. They're currently in the top 4. There's bigger tests to come than 3 teams that are arguably going to be relegation material. Certainly 2 of them, Wolves and Forest, who they've just played. You've got to throw Bournemouth in there. So, yeah, I mean, bringing Casemiro in, I suppose, is one. Dealing with the Ronaldo situation, I think, showed strong management. But, if turning around is a big statement. There's a long way to go, is what I would say.
Because he brought some much-needed discipline to
I think, well, he's brought in, he's got a good CV. He's trying to change the way they play, and they're all of a sudden playing some nice football again, passing the ball quicker, and he's shown who the boss is. So that's a start.
I think, listen, Solskjaer did get them into second, but we had questions about his management throughout. Jose Mourinho similarly. I think one of the big differences between Ten Hag and Jose Mourinho is that Ten Hag is handling a lot of, or trying to handle, any situation in-house. And at times, I think Jose Mourinho kind of spoke out against players, and there's no easier way to lose a dressing room than throwing players under the bus. Not just the player involved, but everybody else in that dressing room. And it seems, again, a lot of the Ronaldo issue, for instance, was played out in public, but that was not Ten Hag's doing, in my opinion. And I think as a result, the dressing room is a little bit more unified behind him than you saw under Jose Mourinho. But Craig's also right. While the football is a whole lot better, I don't think anybody's put in a whole lot of money on Manchester United finishing second, certainly not this season. So in terms of turnaround in everything that it means, we're still a little way from that.
All right.
They are only 9 points off the top. I mean, I'm not suggesting they're in the title race. They've got City and Arsenal coming up in the league. But, you know, they're not a million miles off.
But it has been good. United have been really good.
They've played well of late.
Yeah.
But then again, they've played... If they play like that against Arsenal and City, then if they go and beat those two, or they play against those two teams and beat them, who knows what the hell is going to happen? But I think that's unlikely.
You'll be hearing from Jan Fjørtoft every single time they win now.
I don't know. I've no idea what country he's in when he tweets me. He's on the road somewhere.
He's in front of some hotel door. At least we know that.
Yeah, they're that much.
He's always got a fire warning in the background, hasn't he? If by any chance.
Next question is for you, Shaka. What advice would you give to Arsenal so that they do not make the mistakes your Newcastle side made in '96?
Well, one of the things we discussed about is just a manager recognising the pressure and understanding that the pressure is going to come, and just try to keep a lid on it. Keep that confidence of who you are and what got you to this point. I think that's where Newcastle came unstuck in that 95-96 season. As we were nearing the finish line, you could see it. Pressure started to tell, and there were a couple of things that season. I don't think Newcastle. I think I'm right to say I don't think we won a single game on the road from January to the end of the season, and just little things like that take a toll. And you just need. This is when you need your manager just to rein things in and just say, listen, never mind the little knocks that you get. Just continue to believe in who you are, and which is kind of what we've been saying about Arteta for much of today.
So this is when, Frank, the Arsenal players need Arteta to say, guys, calm down.
Calm down. We need 4-3 Arteta.
Yeah, and they can go even against the coach, like Craig said, you know, calm down, sit down, shut up, we don't want to hear from you anymore. we're gonna deal because we don't hear you. So stop doing that because only the right back or the left back on the second half can hear you, but the others we don't. So shut up, just sit it, stay cool.
The issue I've got, one of the issues is not. I mean, I don't mind a manager being passionate in the sideline. That's fine. But doing it for 90 minutes almost and doing it outside his technical area, quite a way outside his technical area, and almost, actually at the weekend, Lee Dixon on NBC was saying that he had bumped into the assistant a couple of times. Not Lee, the Mikel Arteta, because he was so close, he's literally on the line. And sometimes when fullbacks and wingers are running up and down the wide channels, they're actually just leaving the pitch momentarily when you're making these runs. And he's in the way. So, I mean, at least stay inside those white lines.
I hope he keeps doing it, though.
I'll tell you, he's going to keep... Oh, he will keep doing it, for sure.
I like it. All right, Craig, if United... You've half said this, actually. If United keep going like this, can they challenge for the title? If not, how many players do they need to get to be up there with Arsenal and City?
Well, I think that... Well, certainly for me, I don't think they can keep this run going because there are much tougher games to come, particularly in January. So I don't think they're challenging for the title this year. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. How many players? I mean, unlikely to change the goalkeeper. Varane and Martinez. Dalot, I felt a right back, but Dalot's done fantastic. Wan-Bissaka's playing at the moment. I think they need another couple of midfielders in there to aid Casemiro, to be able to, sort of dynamic players that, they have Fred and McTominay to come in, but I think they need better players than that to help out Casemiro, help out Eriksen, help out Bruno Fernandes. So I think that's an area. And clearly they're not the only club, but they need to bulk up in the striking department. That's a must for them. So probably at least 3 or 4 quality players, I would think, to take the next step.
Which is the more attractive club at the moment, right now, if you're a striker in the market between Manchester United and Chelsea?
Manchester United. I think what you've seen, at the very least in terms of management from Manchester United, gives you greater hope. What you've seen in terms of ownership from Chelsea, I think puts you off. That being said, Manchester United have their own ownership issues. Rumours that the Glazers are trying to sell, etc., etc. But right now, it just seems that Manchester United are on far more stable footing.
Frank, have United got a shot at the title at all?
Excuse me, but I want to answer to the question you just asked to Shaka. If I have Manchester United or Chelsea, I think I will have a third club, or maybe a fourth one, because I would be good enough to have other clubs. And then I will go to the other clubs and not those two, because Manchester United just came back from a dreadful time, and Chelsea is in the middle of it. So I will be a big striker, a good striker. I will go for a club who can bring me a little bit more stability than those two clubs can bring to me right now. So what was your question now?
Do you think they have a shot at the title? How far off are they?
Chelsea or Manchester United?
No, Manchester United.
Okay. Well, as Craig said, they have 2 big games to play in January. After that, it's going to be easier to answer the question. If they beat Arsenal and they beat Manchester City, we can consider that they can be contenders. If they lose against one of the 2 teams, no, never. I think City or Arsenal will win the Premier League.
The last question is for me, and it's about how I'm feeling about the job done by Michael Carrick since being appointed. Very, very happy.
Get Craig to read it. Read the question, Craig.
How is Kay feeling about the job done by Mr. Carrick since being appointed?
Very happy.
This is Craig with no glasses, by the way.
It's a long way away.
Oh, so it's okay, I got you.
He has definitely turned things around. There is a feeling of belief among the squad, and there's definitely a playoff push on, which we weren't saying at the beginning of the season.
Oh, look
right.
at
Man United in the title chase?
Oh, can I change the question like Frank did? Anyway, we love it when you do that, Frank.
By the way, we just need to have a competition on Extra Time for the best Twitter handles that we get.
Dan's high chair.
Dan's high chair.
Won today.
That's 100%. But you know he's got. You know he does sit in the high chair.
Oh, you absolutely do.
His kids sit in normal seats at the dinner table, and he sits in a high chair. And his missus has to strap him in.
When he goes to the barber to bring out that big piece of foam for him to sit on, give him some Legos to play with.
He does, and he gets his haircuts for about $6. Adult price 26. Kids, 6.
Listen, Dan will be back tomorrow to defend himself.
Well, and
let's be honest.
You open the door. He's had to have the pedals in his car have had to be extended. He sits in the car and his wee legs can't get to the accelerator. Like so, he gets. You didn't know this. He has a special car belt, particularly with the pedals that come up.
No, he doesn't. OK, that's it now. We're off.
How do you know?
Because I've done longer than all of you, all right?
I believe Craig.
He's got little legs.
Dan's going to be back tomorrow to defend himself. Join us then.
With his little legs.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.